This episode of the Long Run Podcast is sponsored by Skechers.
Hello, everybody. It's 7 o'clock. It's Friday night, and welcome to the Long Run Show live stream and podcast brought to you by the 40 Runs running community and our generous sponsors, Skechers. I'm Ian Wilkerson, and tonight I'll be joined by Chris Ford, Hayden Harbour, and Toby Frost, and we will be going through those great running myths. Is it all a load of rubbish? Is there an element of truth in them? We will be discussing them all. So there's plenty going on. Now, you might have noticed it's 7 o'clock and there's a big game of football going on. But don't worry, because we're not going to be delving into that at all. So what you can do, you can watch, put your earphones in if you're listening live, watch the game, because all the commentary is rubbish anyway. And then you can get the best of both worlds. So you can listen to us and get loads of sage advice about your running over the next hour and a bit. So if you want to contact us, if you want to join in, then please fill in the comment box and we will try and keep a check on what you're saying and what you're up to. So, hello, lads. How are we doing? Plenty going on this week.
Yeah, lots going on this week. And I can't bet. Well, we are live. We denied about doing this show. I'll be straight up with everybody. And we was like, do we do it earlier? Do we do it later? And then, you know what? We was just like, we make this podcast live stream, you know, firstly for the, you know, the interaction with you guys, but also for you guys who are out doing your run on a Sunday or a Saturday. So we was like, well, we can't not do it because you guys who listen to us on your run won't then have anything to listen to. So we was just like, let's take one for the team. And we don't expect anybody to be watching or, you know, live or anything like that. If you are and you want to put a question in, doesn't even have to be about running. We don't care no more. Stick that in. But yeah, so we thought we'd do the show anyway, and we thought we've got some good ones to talk about running myths tonight because we thought that'd keep us entertained and not looking at the screen while you guys will watch it. Then we can back that through, and then yeah, we'll be ready for the second half. So if you're in Peru, or you're in Hungary, or you're in Norway, England are playing the United States tonight in the World Cup. So that's what we're referring to. If you've got absolutely no idea,
or if you're listening to this in 6 months' time,
yeah,
and you're coming back to it,
yeah,
you
exactly.
Just please bear in mind the circumstances in which this is being recorded. You know, there might be the odd distraction, but I'm going to do my best. And what I will say, the last mention about what's going on in the Middle East is that we've had some cracking chart positions in the Middle East, in UAE. And in Israel as well, been charging up the charts in both of those countries. Not much action in Qatar, though. If you're out in the World Cup,
yes,
and you're a long run listener, let us know. Tell us all about it.
Yes, you can. Well, Wilco, seamlessly into it. You can go on the 40 Run store, use the code Black Friday, get yourself some long run merch. And when you're out of these sort of things in the World Cup stadium, you could be wearing it.
Rock it.
We've even got, right, I didn't know this. I actually genuinely didn't know this, but we've actually got a Speed Goat t-shirt on there that I'm going to get for myself. And it says Speed Goat on it. I'm going to get that. I didn't even know it was on. I swear, right, I didn't know. He was wetting himself the other day because I said to him, we must get you a Speed Goat t-shirt. And he went, there's one on the store already. What are you talking about? So anyway, you go on there, but use the code Black Friday.
Yeah, because we've both been, both me and Sabrina have been caught out, haven't we? Sabrina had a T-shirt with admin written on it, and then I had one that had running at 60% on the back, which I will be rocking this weekend at the half marathon at the Olympic Park on Sunday, which I think we're all at.
Yeah, we're all going there. Also, if you are listening to this and you are heading down to the Olympic Park on Sunday, maybe you are one of the two people that are watching this live. We're gonna be there doing in the rain the half marathon. Hayden, you looking forward to it?
The rain or the half marathon?
Either.
Oh yeah, looking forward to both. Why not? Bit of fun at the old Olympic Park. Not my favourite venue, I must be honest. But usually we're doing laps at that stadium. This is a bit different, so fingers crossed it might be a bit more exciting this time round.
Well, I think the good thing is with it, if it's still the same route that they did the last few years, if you don't know anybody there, you're probably going to go, oh, it was awful. But for us, we're going to be seeing loads of 40 runners as we're going up and down. So you'll keep seeing each other, which is awesome because it does a lot of that, out and back sort of stuff. So we'll just be shouting at each other. Well, probably crying about the rain, but we'll be shouting at each other the whole way. So we'll have a great time, rain or shine kind of thing. But the course is a bit questionable sometimes, but like anything, you just got to rock up and have some fun. And talking of fun, I've got to give a shout out to the guys and happy Thanksgiving to all our US listeners and viewers. Got to give a shout out to the guys that Believe in the Run. The Drop podcast, which is their podcast, they do two. But the Drop podcast is out today, and that's the one that I recorded a few weeks ago. So I'd recommend that podcast, not just the one that I'm on, but all the other ones as well. It's a really good listen. Thomas, who we've had on this podcast, is on it. And then Meg and Robbie and the rest of the team from Believe in the Run. So check that out. It's a bit of a monster. It's a 2-hour jobby.
2 hours?
Yeah, I took in from about 44 minutes, apparently.
All right. So first 40 minutes is all right.
Yeah, I'm about 44 minutes, and then off we go. And
I'm sure that'll be good because they were great. They were great fun when they came on a couple of weeks ago, weren't they? They were great.
I was very well behaved.
Hopefully that'll be great.
I only had a go at saw running, which they deserve anyway, because they don't make any running equipment for everyday runners. You've got to be like a stick to get in their stuff. So saw running, you can jog on.
I know this is. I was going to say this is audio based. We always say this, but obviously people watch it at the moment, if anyone is.
Two people.
We've gone 7 minutes without talking about the moustaches.
Yeah. That's quick. And actually today, where I've been out and about, I've had a few people say to me, "Oh, well done for doing Movember." So if you don't know what Movember is, get on Google and Google it. But it's a movement, it's a charity all focused around men's health, in particular, raising awareness around men's mental health, suicide prevention in men. Admin, listen to the podcast. I think it was last week, the week before, she gave a frightening stat about men's suicide rates. Also around testicular cancer and prostate cancer, because you've got to get yourself checked, boys, to make sure you do that. So we're growing moustaches to raise awareness around that. You can sponsor us if you want to. I don't know what the link is. justgiving.com/long run show. Thanks to Toad for putting it up. And, if you want to spare, stick a $5 our way, great. Thanks very much. We really appreciate it. But for us, it's really about raising awareness. And I think actually on Sunday, it's going to be great because we're all going to be there with our tashes out. And I'm going to be rocking the Tom Selleck look. Hayden's going for the sort of, I don't know, Hayden. He looks good. Yeah, you look like a cowboy. And Wilco's still on the buses, I would say. What?
That's my sort of place, really.
You don't know what that is, Google it. So yeah, Tobe, you've not said anything. How are you getting on?
I'm all right. I've been making sure everyone can actually hear us and see us.
Okay, good boy. He's doing his job. Well done.
Take it seriously sometimes.
It's nice to see somebody on this in this operation adopting a professional attitude. That's what I'll say.
It doesn't matter if everyone's watching the football. We're still here.
We're still rocking it out. We're still professional.
We're still going. Nothing's happened. Right. Before we kick on, before we touch upon what's been a busy period for the 40 Runs satellite clubs, I just wanted to read out a message that caught my eye on the 40 Runs Facebook community. If you're not a member and you're on Facebook, look us up and join. There's 11,000 people on there with all sorts of running stuff and chat going on all the time. We're all lovely, join in. And there was a message from Paul Durham. I just thought I'd like to read it out. This is from Paul. He said, 10 weeks ago, I was lying in Freeman's Heart Hospital in Newcastle, having had a heart attack after the Great North Run. Fast forward 10 weeks and 2 stents, numerous E-rays, echocardiograms, visits to the doctor, and an ongoing program with my cardio physio group, I've been let out to play. So today I was allowed to do some run walking, but I've had to keep my heart rate between 86 and 106. So yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm sure I speak to it on behalf of everybody to say, I wish you all the best, Paul, with your recovery and everything. It's absolutely. It appears to be great news that you're back on the mend and you're going to be able to hopefully get back and enjoy your running. He goes on to say that he's down for the Great North Run again this year. won't be going for a PB, but he's really looking forward to getting back in it. And we're looking forward to seeing you too, Paul. So I just wanted to give that a shout out
Great
because
story.
it caught my eye and it's a lovely story.
Brilliant. Yeah, glad you're back, brother. Glad you're taking care of yourself. Yeah, wish you all the best. Keep us posted on how you get on. Yeah, so you said about the satellites. So I think we'll chuck this over to Hayden because Hayden has been, well, like a man possessed, building out 40 runs across the country. And I've been serious. It's an amazing thing that Hayden's doing with the help of some others. Is doing an incredible job bringing our ethos to communities within the UK. Hopefully we can spread a little bit. I know we one of the chaps who came along to Boxing want to do it in Australia, but it predominantly in the UK at the moment. But if, trying to bring that ethos out across the country to create communities within communities, I think is the way we look at it. And it was great this week going along to London. I'll let Hayden talk about it. But
Hayden, before you start, if you could just sort of like explain to the uninitiated what a 40 Runs satellite group is, and what it's all about. And then go on for all the developments that have gone on over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, sure. So the satellite clubs, basically, you get your traditional running clubs over here in the UK. And as everyone that follows the 40 Run sites that listens to these podcasts, we all know we will champion the everyday runner. We're there for the people that don't feel comfortable at the running clubs, the people that turn up and don't feel fast enough, don't feel part of it, don't feel part of the community. We're also there for the people that suffer with anxiety, that don't want to meet up with these other people at the running clubs. So not only have we created this community and try to encompass everyone together, we're taking that a step further and created our own sort of mini running clubs, but try to keep them as informal as possible. This isn't about meeting up at the track. This isn't about who can run around the track 5 times the fastest, etc., etc. This isn't about wearing spike shoes. This is primarily about people getting together on a set night of the week or at the weekend and just it's basically a social run. So we get together, we have a bit of fun. Every time we arrive, everyone chats about what they've been up to this week, what they're doing that day, go out, have the run. And at the end, it's the same thing. Sometimes finish with a cup of tea, sometimes finish in the pub, sometimes in a restaurant. It's just such an informal thing. But we want this to be available to everyone in the country. Ideally, that would be the dream for everyone. And the only way we can do that is by sort of setting up these clubs in as many locations as possible. But with this, obviously, we need everyone's help because Chris, obviously, admin, Toby, Simon, who's just qualified as well, myself, can't be, Helen, we can't be at all these locations all the time. So we need these heroes and these people to come forward and think, you know what, I'd like to be involved in this. And not only involved, I'd like to be in charge of it. And when I say in charge, it's not a formal thing where you're the head mistress. This is just about you gathering people together on the same night and just being there for everyone. And we've been so lucky when we started to put this out, the amount of people that have come forward and said, you know what, I fancy doing this. Don't get me wrong, we've had some satellite clubs now for, Chris will tell you, maybe 3-4 years. And obviously the original ones that Chris has got up in Hertford and Broxbourne, Helen started one down in Southend like a long time ago. Myself started one a couple of years ago in Surrey. We've got them now. We've got in Northampton, Medway, and they're all over the place, Warwickshire. And we've just started this new one in central London on the Wednesday. Actually, last week we had 4 new ones start up. So we had central London, which meets on a Wednesday. We've got one in Suffolk, which meets up in Ipswich on a Wednesday. On a Monday, we now have one in County Durham up north. And we actually do have one a bit further north up in Jan runs one up in Newcastle. These clubs, we actually got the other one, the final one was a lady called Jenna. She set one up in Cambridge. And it's their first week. All went well. Everyone enjoyed it, has turned up. And when people have seen the interaction and how fantastic it is, we suddenly have a lot of inquiries now, people wanting to get involved, wanting to do this. Honestly, I cannot express how great it is to meet up with people for a social chat, a social run, just to make new friends and just people, like-minded people like yourself. Honestly, it's
powerful
concept.
Yeah. Martin here, he's just said, highly recommend the London Satellite Club. I was at the first one 2 days ago. No pressure, fun group of runners having a chat about running and other things. Keep up the good work, guys. Yeah, I'd thoroughly. I mean, being somebody who before the pandemic, I was regularly running around London in the evening after work and things like that. It's a great place to have a great place to have a satellite club, just to go out and do, You go in, you know, past Big Ben, and you meet at Embankment Station. So you're along the Embankment, you know, past Big Ben, the London Eye, all these iconic things. There's nothing like running around London.
But an important point, Wilco, to make, you don't have to be a club member, right?
No.
You don't have to be an affiliated club member. You don't have to be what we call them basic member, right, of the club. We don't give a monkeys. You can be Lonely Goat. You can be Fulham Running Club. You can be Speed Goat United. We couldn't give a monkeys about anything. If you're in London and you want to come for a social run at 6 o'clock on a Wednesday, as an example, right? You're welcome to come on. Everybody is welcome. If you think you're too slow, I'm telling you now, you ain't, right? Unfortunately, in London, as an example, there's too many clubs that are for these fast guys. So, like, you know, we was talking about it when we was up there. You know, because we was lucky enough to be near Sue's office, and she was saying, yeah, they do a run club, but the guys, you know, they're all too fast. And I was moaning on Instagram about the place that I've been out of. You know, they're the same. They were going, oh yeah, it's full abilities, you know, first timers, but you've got to run 7K in 40 odd minutes. Who does that? It's mental. It's crazy.
You see them. If you you know, my office is my office. That sounds grand, doesn't it? The office where I'm employed is on the South Bank, and you know, I often used to be running, and there'd be hordes of 20-somethings tear-assing about there, and like, you know, it's not like that.
No,
you know, so it's for everybody, and we will. The place to keep in touch with it all is on the Facebook group.
Exactly.
If you can go on there. Keep an eye out, because there are going to be announcements coming up in the next couple of weeks as well of new places going on. And once they get momentum, and once they start springing up places, it's like Hayden says, people think, oh, I'd love to have one round my way, and then people set them up, and the support apparatus is there via the Facebook group if you want to do it yourself. And we will try on here to publicise when new ones are setting up. And, we can keep you all in touch about it.
Yeah, can I just say, going back to what you said about support as well, just if anyone is interested in doing this, we don't just say, you want to set one up in, I don't know, let's give a name. You want to set one up down in Swindon? Okay, yeah, there you go for it. Call it Swindon, carry on. No, we're there for support. We're going to be there for you. We're going to have regular meetings. We're going to help you the whole way to get this absolutely up and running. So it'd be absolutely fantastic.
And what Hayden said, and that's where Hayden and his, I'm going to call him in his crew now, have been amazing, is in setting up the framework and the support around the satellite groups, so they get that, and we're trying to really improve on that side of things. And if we can then bring that out across, you know, all of them. So if you're part of the 40 Runs Running community on Facebook, for example, where, you know, which is what we're referencing, you know, you'll find out this information, and if you're in Ipswich, you might be able to then go along to that week, or if you're in London because you've travelled down, or maybe you know, whatever, you can go to the one on a Wednesday, and it's that kind of stuff. And if you want to set one up, go onto the 40runs.com, just look at under the running club, and there's all the information on there, how you can set one up and get involved and all this sort of stuff. So it's really powerful, people, as I said. But I just want to make, you know, you don't have to be part of the club. Yes, we'd love you to be part of the club. You know, we are an England Athletics affiliated club. We keep the price to a minimum. You know, it's non-profit. It all goes back basically to England Athletics, who do absolutely nothing with that money that helps clubs like ourselves. They just pump it into other clubs. But don't get me started on England Athletics. But the you know, you can get the affiliation even if you're a solo runner. But now we're trying to offer out the community that we've created online within communities within communities locally. So be a local hero, be a shepherd, I think is the key. Be a shepherd in your community and bring those runners together under the 40 Runs banner and share that ethos that we put out, which is inclusivity. We don't care how fast or slow you are, or whatever you look like, shape or form, or we don't give a monkeys. Come along, have some fun, and meet some other people. Right, Wilco, with that out,
I was just going to say before
some of these running myths.
Yes, mate. Okay, I was just going to say that obviously, if you're not a member of if you're not aware of us, our presence on Facebook, then Running Community by 40 Runs, you look that up, and then you'll find everything there. Yes, mate. Now, we've all heard them, you know, some from people within running, some from people who scoff at the idea of us heading off down the trail parks for mile upon mile of a weekend. Oh, you don't want to be doing that. There's problems. Oh, that's no good for you. So we are going to debunk them. We are going to say, hold on a minute. What are you talking about? Rubbish. So here we go. I will start. Now, fortunately, there are 3 experts, who've got coaching qualifications and things like that. And I'm just, the bloke who...
The handsome chap who keeps it all together.
Well, I'd like to think so. So, I will mention the myth, and then the boys will take over and discuss it.
You'll drop the grenade in, and then you'll let it explode.
Run off. Well, I watch football. You crack on. I'll keep an eye out and tell you.
I know why you've done it. It's brilliant, Wilco. You can just drop it in and go, right, boys, off you crack with that one for 5 minutes. Straight back on the TV. Lovely. Yeah.
I'm with you. Sorted, mate. Okay. Yeah. So right, the first one. Oh, the classic, the Bohemian Rhapsody of running myths. Running will ruin your knees.
Oh, it drives me up the wall. And you hear it so often. You get new runners, they come along, they're all keen as mustard. And then a couple of weeks later, they don't come in. Oh, it's my knees, my left knee. It's definitely my left knee. No, it's because you're running too much. You've been going way too fast. You've done no strength and conditioning. You're not built up the muscles around anything. And you're just going out there and running like Usain Bolt. So what do you expect? Oh, yeah, I can run 5K. No, you probably could have done a little bit of run walking and built up to it. And then we could have got you in the gym and done some strength and conditioning, worked on everything, and you wouldn't get that. It is the biggest killer for people's confidence is that it's a knee. Whenever somebody's struggling with confidence in running, they go to the default position. Oh, my left knee's giving me some trouble. No, that's up here. It's because you're not doing the rest of the work around your body to protect your knees and all that sort of stuff. Yes, your knees take a pounding, but the rest of it, your rest of your body does as well. So if you strengthen around your body, take some of that pressure off your knees and just go a little bit slower, build up to it, build that endurance, build that strength, then all your knees will be just fine. I mean, Hayden, what do you think? I mean, I bet you hear it all the time as well.
Yeah, well, as you said, it's the most common thing, but it's normally people that are critical of runners, people that mostly probably cyclists. I mean, I don't think that running is so much, it's not so much the running, it's a couple of other things. It's bad form. Bad form can lead to your knees hurting. So if you're looking at it from that perspective and you're going to run in a really, really bad sort of form, then yeah, there's a possibility you're going to get injured knees. And obviously, as you said, the biggest cause of knee pain is just overuse and just overdoing things. People, as you said, people think, I'm going to start in January, I'm going to start running. They go out and do a couple of K, then a 5K. And within 2 weeks, they're up to like 15K. And then within 3 weeks, they're like, oh, this running's bad for your knees. It's hurting me. It's going to happen. Absolutely. I say you need to strengthen your knees. You need to work on them. If you go to the gym for the first time in January and start bench pressing 100 kilos, you might be able to do it a couple of times. Say by about the 3rd or 4th day, you're going to be aching and killing. But you don't say that bench pressing is bad for your chest. You just assume that it's just you've done it.
I reckon it's actually something that physios put into our minds so then they make money out of it. Because what they do is they tell you to just crack on and run, right? And then they're just thinking, right, he'll be back. So cash in and cash in. You know what I mean? 50 quid for a few stress you get on YouTube. And I'm going to get a bad name of physios. But I don't know. Yeah, Hayden's absolutely right. It is true. You just go too fast like maniacs. And then, yeah, you start in January. Oh, yeah, I've done 5K. I'm now going to be able to qualify for the Olympics. Just slow down, yeah, and just build slowly. And you're absolutely right. You made a really good point there, Hayden, about form and your posture and the way you run. I mean, we was working on it a little bit this week, Wilco, with our arms and stuff like that.
Nearly killed me.
Well, it wasn't about Simon. But, yeah, you do need to, if you can, work on form. Because if you're, hunched over, hips in the wrong position, your foot's, your strike's too far out and all this sort of stuff, it can also make things worse. So there's plenty to think about. That's why, coach sessions and things like that, they do play a good part, but obviously they cost money. But yeah, just be sensible, people. And that running will ruin your knees is an absolute load of, we need to like a buzzer. Yeah, a load of, yeah. So I would say, right, next one will come.
Now, before we go on to point 2, did you see that, did you see that Toby's head popped up like a little meerkat then as soon as Hayden mentioned cyclists?
Oh no! Don't get me started on biking. I've got less. You know what? I'd rather watch Cameroon play like Qatar or some absolute toilet team and watch that for 4 or 5 days solid with no food and get on a bike. Do you know what I mean? It's
That's
just
pretty much what I've done. Anyway, point 2.
Yeah, Karen.
You should stretch before you run.
Well, okay. Firstly, Hayden, do you stretch before you run?
It depends on what the run's going to be. I think that's a big factor.
Okay, well, if you're going out for just a trot round the block, 6 miles because you're hardcore,
no, definitely not.
Tobe, I would ask you this, but you don't run because you're tapering at the moment. But no, seriously, Tobe, do you stretch before you run?
Not normally. Warm up, but not stretch.
Wilco, we'll come on to that in a minute. No, right. So, in fairness, this is something I know that gets kicked about static stretching, dynamic stretches, and all that sort of stuff before and after. Okay, and it's dynamic stretches. So, static stretch is standing still, pulling yourself around. Dynamic is movement, yeah, and stretching and while you're moving, yeah. Dynamic stretches in a really basic format, right? And it's just about getting that blood flowing and warming up your muscles through dynamic stretches better than start pulling them about while they're cold. Okay, that's what we're kind of thinking about. And what Tobe's just mentioned there is the warm up is perfect. So, like for example, coach session on Tuesday, Simon spent pretty much a good 10 minutes in the end doing a warm up that started off with walk, faster walking, then a little bit of walk jogging, then a little bit of, skipping and different dynamic it to really start engaging the different muscles and everything like that, and switching yourself on, get that blood going through before he actually brought you up to bit of running. And then he carried on going because we was doing a speed session. So he really moved you through it. And that was a good warm up before a specific session. So the warm up was based around that session. And it's the same if you're going to go out and do, a lactate threshold run. You'd probably, or someone hopefully would recommend you do a good mile at least as a warm up, nice and steady pace, build that pace up, maybe then just chuck a little bit of speed in towards the end of it and then come back down before you then get into the actual lactate threshold run. So you're warmed up. So you're not going out of the door crushing it, because again, that's not going to do any favors. So it's that warm up that would, instead of standing, I don't know, on a brick wall and stretching yourself out and all this sort of stuff, you could probably do yourself more harm than good. Fair point, boys?
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I think yes, is, stretching before you run. I think what Hayden says is a good point. But Hayden, if you stretch before run, you've done a warm up before you do those stretches, right?
Yeah, when you said about stretching, I suppose I was thinking more about getting these terms mixed up with stretching and warm up. I do a warm up. Do I stretch? No. If you're going to say blatantly just stretching, then no. But do I warm up? If we're going to do a decent run, I will. But if you're going to do like a long, easy one where you're just going out for a nice run, the first 2 kilometers for me is the warm up, and that gets your body working. So that does the job.
And that's the key to this, right? It's just building into it. Whatever you're doing, even we go out and do a long run, we'll do the first mile and a bit super easy. Before we drop to whatever pace that we want for that run, we will get going real slow. And because it's probably going to be sluggish, because, if you're doing your long run at the weekend, chances are you've had a hard week with whatever, you want to build into that run. And it's the same principle. So, yes, I would say that, stretching before you run, static stretching, is a load of old tip.
So folks try and recognise what's warming up and what's stretching, and know what's going to be beneficial for you.
Well, Peter Johnson's asked, would the Macarena count as a warm up?
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. Chris is leading the warm up with that on Sunday, from what I've heard. Right?
Are we doing the Macarena on Sunday? I'll do the Macarena. I'm not doing it in the rain, though, Tobe.
I think you are. Oh.
I'm not. Am I?
Right, number 3.
Oh, yeah, go.
Yeah, cracking the whip. Runners don't walk.
But that. I said, what was it? When was it? What episode was we talking about this? About walking?
It might have been when I did Dublin, because I finished up doing walking.
Yeah, we was talking about walking and running and was it last week when we did the like not beginner tips, but like come back into running. I think we spoke about it then, and we touched on it then about, you know, using run walk strategies and how powerful walking can be when building back up if you're coming back off the bench or you're new to running and that sort of stuff. And I've said it a million times in the, you know, with marathons and things like that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with walking. In fact, I would recommend walking in a marathon through those aid stations or whatever, you know, just to gather yourself up and give yourself 30 seconds. It's a brilliant tip. There's absolutely nothing wrong with walking. Look at what's his name? Galloway, Jeffing, right? That, I mean, that's a cult, and it shows you how powerful run walk can be if done properly, how amazing it can actually be. You know, some people run marathons quicker than I run a marathon. It's amazing using walking, and I anybody who says, oh, you shouldn't walk, honestly, I'd go nuts at them, because there's no, I don't see the downside other than if you walk for too long. Yes, I get it. You know, lactic acid will build up and you lose a bit of momentum and this goes. I get that. But if you do it purposely and with a strategy, it can be incredibly powerful. It really can. I think it's a great thing to be able to do. If you can do it, it is that, you know, to walk.
Yeah, I mean, I did this the other week when I did Dublin. I got to 20 miles running, and then for the last 6 miles, I thought, right, I'm just going to get my head straight. I'm going to run 5 minutes, walk 2 minutes, all the way back, and the last few miles flew by. Mentally, it was a massive plus. I could have just slogged it out and not enjoyed it, and not had a good time, and not thought I'd made much progress. It would have done my head in. But I think having a structure to it was the key thing. It wasn't just sort of like, oh, I'll have a bit of a walk now, and then the walks get a bit too much, and then you're doing a bit too, you know, you're getting too. If you've got a system, I think it really works well. What do you think, H?
Well, I was going to say, I had a park run. I think it was week before last. I think it was called Tilbury. I went to, and they had a great big hill in it. Got to the bottom of it. I walked it. I was running up here, and I was thinking, I can walk it just as quick as I can run it. So I walked up to it, come round, still finished the park run line in a really reasonable time. I walked part of it. Am I not a runner? I don't know. You tell me.
No, it's no. I get. Look, right. If you're looking at the elites and all this sort of stuff, it's a separate conversation. I get that, right? But if you're looking at everyday runners, normal people, right? That's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about elites, you know, like Tobe. We're talking about normal, everyday runners. There is absolutely nothing wrong with walking. In fact, I would recommend it. Okay, it really can be powerful. If one, you've got to accept that you're going to do it and know when to do it and do it well. I think that's the key to that. So no, runners not walking, jog on. Another one. See you later. Check that. Right, next, Wilco.
Right, the next three I'm going to bracket together because they're very similar. It's they're all sort of like, they're all under the title of you are not a runner unless.
Yeah.
So unless you run at a certain pace or distance, unless you race, or unless you have a certain body type.
Oh, don't get me started on body types. Talking about sore running. What was the yeah, I think just any of this, you're not a runner business. It actually, the whole thing where people say, oh, you're not a runner unless you're running like so far or so fast, or you're not a runner unless you're like skinny, and Pro Direct running only sends you stuff because you're slim and you run under 3 hours, or you're like set stuff sent by sore running because you're a certain pace and all this. It's absolute all this. You're not a runner. You are a runner. No matter what anybody says to you, you're going out, you're putting one foot in front of the other, you're a runner. Okay. So all that is absolute tut. I don't believe any of it. Anybody who says that to me, I don't want to talk to you. Go away. Leave me alone. Fair play.
What about Hayden? What about not racing?
That's sort of like a summary umbrella. To be honest, it ain't just like they're talking a load of it's quite offensive. I actually find it quite offensive. People say to you, you're not a runner because of this, because of that. Because if you do a bit of running, simple as that, you're a runner. There's just nothing. I don't understand. As you said, when it comes to racing, I know people at the moment. There's one person actually, it's a random person that followed me on Strava, and they used to like a few of my runs and things. They used to comment on things, and I thought to myself, never see them doing any like big races or anything. Just don't do them. But you see some of the sessions they do, bloody hell. Honestly, they put people. It was this guy. He was running sub 20-minute 5Ks, but he just doesn't do big races. He's just not interested. Is he a runner?
And also, you know, you don't know the circumstances of why people don't go into races. Some of these races involve, you know, you line up on the start line of the Great North Run. There's 60,000 other people there. Some people, you know, mentally have an issue with anxiety and things like that, that they cannot be, they cannot cope with being in that sort of environment, particularly after what everybody's been through over the last 2 years. So don't judge anybody from what they don't do.
And that's the thing. I think absolutely nailed it, Wilco. Don't judge people just because, you know, you do it your way, which is, again, we go back to, actually, this is brilliant. Well done, boys. I go back to what we spoke about at the start, about the club and the ethos and everything behind it. You know, we're not there to judge you. If you want to run, come along. We're like, welcome you with open arms. We couldn't care less about, you know, your pace, your distance, whether you race or not, whether you just run to the shops to get the paper and run home again. You're still a runner. It doesn't make any difference. And you know, branding people with a runner brand is nonsense in itself. You're going out there and you're doing some exercise because you like doing it, and it's your hobby. It's whatever. So just crack on. So yeah, all that nonsense, and you tend to hear it from certain people. But I'm guessing it's the same in, what do you call it? Biking. I'm guessing probably biking people get the same thing. Oh, you're not a biker unless you've got, like, I don't know, some £3,000 bike and you know, you got a helmet that says I'm a helmet on it. I don't know what it is. But, you know, I'm guessing it's the same in all sports. You probably get the same sort of took that's being spoken about.
Snobbery, isn't it?
Yeah. So, what's this question? As everyday runners, do we really need to do stretches and warm-ups, or can we just get on with it? No, we just spoke about it. You know, you should really be doing a warm-up. It's, you know, breeze into even in your long run, just breeze into it. If you're doing just 3 miles, which is a long way for some people, I appreciate it. But if you're just scooting out for a 30-minute run, 100% use the first, you know, 5 minutes or so to get into your stride, because you can do more harm than good. So yes, I would say, well, I know what you're saying. Do we just get on with it? Yeah, but I'll give you an example, right? So at the moment, I'm commute running a lot of the time, but I don't just get off the train and start running. Yeah, I get off the train, I come out, I walk round to where I'm going to start. Then I'll walk a bit to the corner, and then I'll start. But I'll pick up my pace of walk. So before I go into the run, and then I build into the run. I do that intentionally. I could just come straight out and just run off and do that. But I deliberately pick the pace up in my walk and then start walking. Yeah, it's not massive, but it's something. So yeah, I would recommend you do on. And also a good cool down as well. So I stop at the top of, I have to run up a bleeding hill every time I come home. And it's not like a massive hill, but it's a hill. Toby can tell you. It is a hill, isn't it, So especially after a 20-mile run.
I'll give him that. Yeah. It's a hill.
Nice hill.
Yeah, but there is a little pathway you can get into my road, sneaky one on the side. I always stop early because then I walk home. So I get it's about 3 to 5 minute walk after a bit of a cool down. And it's that principle. So I don't just finish at the front door and fall into the house and the kids shout at me. You know, I do that cool down deliberately. It's intentional. So I'd recommend you do that as well. So yeah, we kind of
cooling down more important than warming up.
Both as important as each other.
Yeah, you concur with that, Age?
I would say so. I've always sort of known, I had this theory in my head that last kilometre or so of your long run, it's for me, it's all about bringing heart rate back down. I wear a heart rate monitor, so it's easy to see the strap. But for me, I really want to get my heart rate down to like a really reasonable heart rate, and then I feel as though the run's accomplished and successful.
And that all comes back to sort of like, don't worry about your stats on Strava if your last mile's 2 minutes slower than all the others and all that sort of thing. Don't worry about all that. It'll do you good.
No, just again, don't even. Maybe we should have put this in about a myth about Strava, but yeah, don't pay any attention. I mean, I don't even stop sometimes I don't even stop my watch, and I'm in the shower because I haven't even bothered stopping it. You know, forget it. Don't get so paranoid about, I've got to stop it. I've got to do this. Yeah.
We've all set them up. We've all left them going when we've got in the car, haven't we?
Yeah. I mean, just whatever. Yeah. But it is important to do a warm up, and it is important to do a cool down. It really is. I mean, if you're that anal on Strava, start your watch, stop it, save it, and then write warm up on it. If you're that bothered, or just do what I do, switch it on and forget about it and worry about it 5 days later. Right. Next one.
Okay. Runners don't to strength train and have strong upper bodies.
Well, I think we spoke about strength training to the cows come home, weren't we? I think, was it last week we was talking? Does anyone remember what we spoke about? I can't remember. Toby, what did we speak about last week?
No idea.
No, absolutely no idea. Well,
I was going to try and add some value there, but it wasn't worth it.
No, you didn't. But we've said about it before. I don't think we can go to spend too much time on this because we've banged on about it. We should all be doing strength training, people. We should all be looking at, strengthening our upper bodies, our lower bodies, our core, and doing all that stuff. And, what we said about runner's knee and all that sort of, what we touched on earlier.
How much strength training do you do, Hayden?
I do more upper body than I do lower body. I find when I do lower body strength work, I end up getting I get injured. I get injured even more. So I think it comes back to the fact of it depends on what your sort of ultimate goal is and your target. We talk about everyday runners and runners. If you just want to enjoy running, just enjoy running. If you want to really start improving yourself and you want to go down a road where you want to get better times, you want to talk about getting a coach, then yeah, strength training absolutely is going to help you out. And to get a good plan with the strength, start looking at different exercises to do, absolutely go for it. Spot on. It will work. Guaranteed it will work. But if you haven't got the time, remember, running takes up a lot of time. If you want to start adding in the gym and go in there and everything else, the whole running thing, it will overtake your life. And hands up, my wife will tell you. I'm one of them.
But then on the other hand as well, sometimes it can break up the week. I mean, I do one session, a PT session a week, and it just breaks it up. It just does, I'll be going out sort of running 4 or 5 times a week. But then on a Wednesday, I do a PT session. It's with a group of lads. We do a lot of strength sort of stuff. It's just something different, and it just, breaks the, the potential. I love running, but it can become monotonous if that's all you're doing. So mentally, it helps. So
I think sorry, we'll cutting over. I think you're right, and it like give an example. So Sai this week was talking to me and on club night. He was saying that on a Thursday, which used to be his sort of medium distance run, so he'd go out and do 8 to 13 miles, something like that. He's actually he's going out on the bike instead. Just feels like that little bit of cross training is going to help him mentally and physically. So yeah, we're not talking strength work here, so to speak. Yes, it will help his lower body, will help other parts of his body. Of course, cycling does, but it's also the break from running. So yeah, I think there's 2 elements to it. Yes, you should be doing it. Yes, you need a strong upper body, and yes, you should do some strength training if you can. But as Hayden said, think about the reasons why you're doing this running business. If this is the only thing you've got time for and it's the only bit of exercise you can do, just crack on. So yeah, I think that's a good way to end that.
Okay, so this is a good one. Taking a few days off will hurt your fitness.
Absolute rubbish. 100% rubbish. Look, Toby doesn't do any running, like 0 running, and still runs a 3:45. Well, 3:46 because the course was short, but 3:46 marathon in Amsterdam with no training. And so, Toby, I think you're the best person to talk about this. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, it does. Obviously, the more you run, the better you're probably going to do and reach your targets. But taking time off, it doesn't, especially if it's a few days, it really doesn't make that much difference. I mean, you're not going to lose much, and even in the first few weeks, really, you're not going to really lose anything until then. But it
comes down to how intense your training is, right? So if you are hardcore, 6 days a week, pushing out big miles, right, your performance loss will happen quicker than somebody who's running 3 days a week and you're doing sort of average miles. Okay. So the first week, no, you'll lose nothing. Second week, yes, you'll see an impact. How much of an impact you'll see is depending on how much work you're doing beforehand. Okay. So it's all relevant. But if you're just an everyday runner, 3-4 times a week, whatever, first week, forget about it. Second week, you may see a slight decline, but it's marginal. Yeah. So sometimes as well, taking a week off can be so good for you, right? I'm in the midst, I think like you, Hayden, at the moment, we're probably just creeping up a little bit, but I'm in the middle, I'm at the end of what is effectively a 4-week down period, right? So my mileage has gone from like for argument's sake, 40 something, high 40s weekly mile, and I'm averaging that out, and it's dropping. And I'm deliberately, if you look at Strava, I've deliberately, you'll see 25 miles, 25 miles, 25 miles every week. And that's deliberate because I've taken my foot right off. And if I'm missing a run, I'm missing a run. I couldn't give a monkeys. All the stuff I'm doing is low intensity. There's no real pace in any of it that I'm doing. Nothing. And that's deliberate. And I even took, I think in there, I've taken a couple of days off. It is deliberate to recover from, you know, the year of training blocks that I've done. Yes, I'm now going to start. This weekend signals the start of moving that mileage needle up a little bit. But it you know, there's absolutely no downside to taking a good week off from running and having a reset. And don't you think, Aidan? It's just like hit a reset.
As you said, you're saying a week. Wilco, the actual question was a couple of days. Let me ask you a question, Chris. What is the point? Why do people taper? What's the point of a taper? It's to get your body in that peak condition, which involves cutting back a little bit, taking a rest day, because that helps you. And if that's the taper is so powerful, and that gets you to peak performance, and it encourages you to drop down a little bit, have a rest day. So how can taking a rest day be any harmful? It's not. Simply isn't.
You've got to take rest days. When I'm doing,
you'll have a week off, won't you, after your marathons?
I've always, if I have a marathon usually on a Sunday, I literally will not run until the following Saturday / Sunday. I do anything. I'll walk, do a lot of walking, but no running whatsoever.
When I do a plan for somebody, it's like, first question is, right, so what days your rest days? Yeah, that's the first thing I ask, because it's like one of the most, if not the most important day or days in that week. However your week looks like, even if you're, you know, working nights, working earlys, whatever it is. Okay, so what day's your rest day? When are you doing no running? What day is that in the week? So I can, because that's the, you know, bang, straight in there. So important. It really is, people. Don't underestimate and don't feel like, I understand when people get nervous. Oh, I've not done any training. I've not done any running. I've not, because you're, as we said, you're a runner, right? So you get that, you know, you should be running. You want to go out there and run, but you're not going to lose nothing. So that whole thing about you're going to lose this, you're going to lose that is again, it's absolute, total, complete, and can't say the word.
That's all good then.
Wilco.
Yeah, have your rest. Don't be scared of having your rest days, folks. You know, do you good. Yeah.
Wilco, how are we looking?
What?
On the old?
It's half time.
Oh, okay. Is it?
I can't give any spoilers, mate. You know, it's like the news. You know, you can't reveal what the scores are.
Well, if you don't do it audibly, if you do like or okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, no good. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, carry on.
Okay, yeah, the best bit's to come. So the best bit will be on when we're finished. So that's great.
Yeah.
Runners can eat anything they want.
So,
we've got the two polar opposites here on the top row.
100%. Eat what you want. Why not?
Yeah. Well, so Tobe, brilliant. This is for Tobe. So Tobe, right? If you're new to this channel, Speedgo, quite honestly, eats anything he wants. 1 minute he's going healthy and he's eating a beetroot burger. The next minute and I'm not joking, he will order 18 pizzas and he reckons they're for other people, he eats them all. Right? The boy, all he does, he'll spend 25 quid in Pret of a morning and eat a lot. It's outrageous what he eats. And
25 quid don't get you a lot in Pret.
I know, don't you get 25 quid in Pret gets you a bottle of water, I think, nowadays. But it's by the way, Pret, if you want to sponsor the pod and Saw Running, where they got to go to, which website, Wilco?
It is 40runs.com/longrun.
Yeah, so you can come along and sponsor us as well, Pret.
And that's your place for your emails and stuff like that. And put your messages in there.
You want, just send it in. Just send it in.
Yeah, love.
We don't care.
We'll take it.
But yeah, it's
constructive criticism.
Yeah, yeah. But it's true though. Tobe genuinely eats. And then Wilco, you're at the other end of the spectrum because you're trying to shed some timber, and how are you getting on with that?
All right, got rid of another £3 this week. So yeah, it's going quite well. I'm just doing them. I'm on my fitness pal, just counting my calories and things like that. And I'm quite pleased because I haven't done that much running. I've done a bit over the last few days, but I haven't done that much. But it's just taking control of my diet. It's the old favourites, you know, knocking your head on the biscuits and the booze and things like that. So 2 weeks in, it's going okay. But we're all different. We're all different metabolism. I mean, I've got about 18. How old are you, Tobe?
12.
33.
Don't tell
like
lies,
33.
Tobe.
I can't
So
remember.
I'm nearly 17 years older than Toby.
You wouldn't know it, mate.
I know. Fresh as a daisy. I can't believe it either. But, you know, when I was 33, you know, I could eat like that a bit, you know. It's all, you know, one day this might catch up with him. You know, you see it on these footballers, you know, when they all retire and then they put on the timber and, you know, turn into Alan Brazil.
Tobe won't be able to get in his house. Tobe won't be able to get his own house when he turns the same age, you know, in 10 years' time. He will not be able to get, he'll have to buy a bigger car. He'll have to get a stair lift, everything, right? A little ramp outside his house just to help himself get in the house because he's put on so much weight from eating all the tut that he eats. One of
the main things that I've learned, sort of like I've been running, you know, 5 years. One of the first things was that it wasn't going to be an automatic diet solution, that I wasn't going to lose pounds and pounds, even though some people do, because I had a terrible eating habits. I didn't eat a lot of, I ate a bit of junk food, but like I'd go for a run. I'd do 10 miles and think, oh, great. And then do 3/4 of a tube of Pringles when I got through the door. You know, it's just.
Who does 3/4? Hang on. No, wait. Who does 3/4 of a tube? Why would you not just do the whole lot?
Well, you got to save a bit for tea, ain't you?
What?
Does he think you're being healthy?
Save a bit for tea.
No.
That was when I was on a health kick, mate.
Right. So email, what's the website called?
It is 40runs.com. It's your website. It's your name. You really ought to remember. Stroke long run.
Right. So let us know. Serious point. Would you only eat 3/4 of a tin of Pringles, or would you not go the full hog? Hayden, would you go the full hog, or would you?
To be honest, yeah, they're addictive. You can't stop. You don't have a choice.
Why would you stop?
I do now. I have a tube last me all week. I just eat them sort of like 15 at a time.
Yeah, but that's because you're on this like healthy thing, Tobe. Tobe would have 3 tubes. He would try. I tell you what's really good. What the kids got me at Christmas last year. They got me this like really tall thing. It had all the different flavors. I've done them by the end of Christmas Day. Straight in. Like that they were. It was like they were like water going in those Pringles. Oh. But why would you only do 3/4 of a tin? I don't get that.
I'm going around Wilco's to finish them off.
Yeah. Wilco's, save them up. We'll eat them.
You'll have to fight me for it. I'll be armed at the front door.
See, I find the more running I do, the less I eat.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Actually, I'm eating when I get in.
But I mean, joking apart, Chris, you know, you have said before that you run because, you know, eating's your thing. And you run so you can eat.
Yeah, I don't drink for various reasons, but I don't drink. I don't go out on the lash. I don't, go out and party. I don't do all these other things. My probably one and only vice, apart from running, is eating. I love eating. It's just one of the things I like to do, and none of it's healthy. I'll quite happy. All right, with my things that I've got, I'll quite happily eat 10 bags of the same pack of crisps because I can't have one. That's just the way I am. But yeah, it is my thing. And if I stop running, I do notice my weight's growing, and I do struggle with my weight in general if I'm not running, and I feel guilty. But I am like Tobe. If I get into a training block, I actually do find myself eating less because I don't know. It's just like a switch that goes on, and it's like so if I finish running, I don't feel like eating. Tobe will tell you after we do a race and stuff, I ain't that fussed about eating. I'm really not. Some people will then just go and smash whatever, but I'm not that fussed. The day after I probably would, but I find myself eating less when I'm in a marathon training block than I do when I'm not. So at the moment
I was in a different position because when I've done 3 marathons now, when I've been doing training, I have been sometimes conscious that am I fueling all right? Am I eating enough?
No,
I don't know whether other people have fallen into this.
It's always that thing. I mean, we admin keeps threatening to get a nutritionist on here, but she's too busy trying to buy an electric car to do anything. But we want to get one on because we need to clear this up because there's that thing that Al said. I said it the other week about you can't out train a bad diet and all this sort of stuff. It's balance, people. It's like it's common sense. It's just balance. You do not need to eat a full tub of Pringles after your run just because you've been out for a run. You don't need to go to Toby Carvery and pile it up so you can't see the person sitting opposite you because of the mound of potatoes because you've just done 10 miles. It's all got to be done relevant. Your body's an incredible thing, okay? I mean, I used to, and I will go back to doing it when we start. I used to run 30 miles starved. You don't need, to have something. Yeah, fuel up afterwards, and in terms of getting the right stuff in and recovery and all that sort of stuff. But it's you can't.
I'll tell you what, can I just say, I've been sitting here being quiet the whole time. I'm laughing to myself because I know it's bad. So I'm the second week of a marathon training plan. I'm sitting here. So
Pringles.
No.
Heineken.
I've got a beer for a drink, and look, I've got a whole pizza. It's been delivered from Domino's, and I'm just sitting here while you lot are talking about all this junk food, and I'm just sitting there in bed. I'm like,
yeah,
but you can carry it, mate.
After
but that's the thing.
You're a Boston qualifier. Look at it. This is the best week of success.
Listen, if I was qualifying for all these marathons, I'd be like, you know what I mean? Just sticking it down, pizza in here.
You've got to be happy. You've got to be happy.
Yeah, I'll make you right. And that's the thing, yeah? And you're absolutely, whatever makes you happy, do it. If your thing is, right, to go and do park run with your mates and then go to McDonald's and smash the life out of it, because that's what we enjoy doing, do it. If you want to go, whatever makes you happy, that's the key. But to answer the questions, runners can eat anything they want. No, I would say that's not exactly true. But what I would say is, guys, just enjoy yourself. We get one go. I always say it every week. We get one go on the rodeo. So whatever, sit there with Hayden, have a beer. He'll end up. I don't even think he's in his own house again tonight. So whoever's house he's in, he's eating your pizza and drinking your beer.
I'm honestly not.
So there you go. So whoever's house he's in, can I just say he's drinking your beer and eating your pizza, or he's probably charged the pizza to your Just Eat account and you don't know it.
And he's probably watching your telly, watching the football as well.
He's probably watching your telly. He's probably, So whoever that is, the poor soul, next week, Hayden could be in your house. There used to be that show. What show was it where they used to turn up?
Noel Edmonds, didn't they? They used to click the fingers and then somebody would be sat on their sofa.
Someone would be sitting in there. That's Hayden. So anyway, if you'd like Hayden to come round to your house and do the long run show, how do they get involved, Wilco? What is it on the website?
It is 40runs.com/long run.
Subject, Hayden, come to my house.
Yeah, come round, Hayden.
Yeah, come round. He would have known. You know what? He would.
I'll tell you what, it could be the golden prize next week. The next one I come round, next Friday, I'll even shave off my tash.
Oh, yeah, we've got to
shave. It'll be done by then.
I mean, what day do we shave, by the way?
Thursday. Is Thursday the 1st? I think so. I did say, I'm sorry, I didn't catch the name, but somebody said on there, on the questions, on the comments earlier, that they did Movember in 2020 and they liked it so much they kept it. That is not happening.
That is not happening.
No,
I concur.
Not happening.
Hayden's missus, I saw her on Wednesday. I tell you now, it's definitely not happening. That's staying. Tell you that now. Yeah, that's guaranteed. I'll tell you what, Hayden, before we go, just if you can, I know it's hard because we've got so many. Should we try and think of some of the satellites? So if you're in some of these locations, so we've got London on a Wednesday at 6 o'clock, right? So if you're in London, we've got Broxbourne on a Wednesday in Hertfordshire. We've got Hertford in Hertfordshire on a Tuesday at 7 o'clock. We've got
forget someone.
Southend are out and about on a Sunday and a Monday. Cambridge is Monday night, 7 o'clock. We've got Medway, what is that, 6:30 on a Wednesdays, I guess?
Tuesday, I think it might be Medway.
You guys are Thursday, aren't you? So if you're in Surrey, around that sort of area, we've got Surrey. We've got Northampton, which meets on a Sunday at 9:30. We've got
Coventry.
When's County?
Coventry on a Thursday.
Okay.
Newcastle.
When's Newcastle?
Newcastle, I think, is on a Wednesday, I believe. But as you said, if you go to the 40 Runs website,
Coventry as well. You got the Suffolk one that's just started as well this week.
That's on
Wednesday. If you're Bournemouth, we're looking at Bournemouth in the next few weeks. That's going to be coming your way. So get in touch if you're down in Bournemouth. But I think that, Derby as well. So I think the key to this is there's hopefully one near. If there's not, and you're one of these shepherds that I mentioned earlier, get in touch. Please get in touch. If you've got a lurf and maybe you're a club that you're absolutely sick and tired of, but you don't know what else to do. Come along and start a group. Get in touch with us through the website, and you know, and bring you know, some runners together in your local community, and do that. I think it's quite.
We've also got in the next couple of weeks as well. We've got a North London one coming up, and also in the new year we're going to have a biggish one over in Staffordshire as well. They're all, as you said, and Derby and Bournemouth. They're the next 4 that will be.
So where's the one in North London then?
It's going to be. It isn't decided. It's what we do with these clubs. Just to let you in on it. So somebody comes forward and says, "Oh, I want to go ahead with this and get this launched." So that's fine. So then we find about the interest. See if there's interest in the area. Once there's interest in the area, we all get together in like a chat group. And then literally it's from that moment, we start to discover what's the best day for people, the best time, and the best location. Because it's easy to say, we're going to start a satellite club in Surrey. People could live a complete different ends of Surrey. So we have these chat groups, and literally we throw about ideas for 3 or 4 days, and eventually the consensus comes up.
Well, I mean, your one in Surrey, for example, you use 2 venues, don't you?
Well, yeah, that's an option we go to. If the county is very big and spread, that's something we can definitely accommodate. So we have 1 week one side of Surrey, 1 week the other side of Surrey, just to accommodate everyone. But a lot of it will depend on the run leader. Obviously, the run leader is the most important person here who's getting this together. They're the one that putting themselves forward, and I've got so much respect. And we need to say a massive, massive thank you to all these run leaders that have come forward and are doing this, giving up their own time to just be part of the community. Honestly,
they're incredible human beings. I said it the other night in the satellite leaders group, and it may sound corny. It's a great way to finish. Yeah, these people, I'm not going to put this lightly, they are changing lives because they are bringing people together, connecting communities. Some of those runners, maybe, you know, on their own, you know, for whatever reason, they're struggling. They've got no outside connection for whatever reason. Yeah, maybe they're going for a really tough time. To be able to bring them together with another like-minded person, you know, who they may connect with and become friends. We saw it. There's 2 ladies on Tuesday who met through our ladies running group who then came. You know, it's quite a daunting thing we switch locations and they came along together, you know, and it's incredible to see. So the run leaders being able to bring these people together and turn up every week, right, rain or shine, and say, right, guys, and even if it's one person that turns up, you know, that one person will forever be grateful because maybe there's something on their mind that they wanted to talk about that week. Maybe they had a bad week or whatever. They got some bad news, whatever it is, or, you know, whatever. So those people are amazing, and I've got to give a big shout out to all of them because they genuinely are changing lives. And that's why I said at the start, what Hayden's doing is so important because he's bringing these groups together on a local level. So that's why it's so important. It's so key that we keep spreading it.
I would only endorse. I can endorse the satellite system as a customer. You know, I joined the first. I was there the first week that we did Hertford. You know, and my involvement within the community has increased massively since. You know, it's been so. You will find this happens. You will join the club. You will buy a T-shirt. You will get involved. You'll go to the meetups and all that sort of thing. You know, but it's about you putting your hand up and saying, "Yeah, I'd like to be involved in that," because you will not regret it.
No, and I also think it's not that someone probably correct me on this. I think it's unique. I don't know of any other club in the country that is, first of all, probably countrywide, that you've got people that, as you say, you've got Lonely Goats and clubs like this, but we're a club that are trying to get people together, not just say, oh, I'm part of that club. No, we want to see you together. To have these little pockets all around the country, it's unique. It's a first. It's a concept. So it's making waves.
Creating communities within communities, and that's the key to it. It doesn't matter if you're a tiny little village in, you know, Basingstoke or whatever it is, and there's 5 or 6 of you who want to meet regularly. And, you know, we were there. We'll be there to support you. We will help you, and we will celebrate 100%. You. And
and you can meet up at races, can't you, Hayden? Where's the meet up for the?
Yes, good shout.
Where's the meet up for this Sunday?
This Sunday at Olympic Park, we're going to aim to meet up between about 8:30 and 8:40, just by the bag drop. It's quite open there, so you'll see a load of us.
It's down by the stadium, isn't it? Where we're going this week.
That's right. It's just to the right of the stadium. And I have to say this as well. It's so important. If you see us and you want to come over and say hi, please come over and just say hello.
Don't be shy.
If you see myself, you see Chris or Wilco, I say, I saw you on Friday, and that will start a conversation, and that will start your 40 runs.
You'll see us. We'll have the tashes.
Yeah, come and see us. And another point, I just put this out there. You don't have to have a t-shirt, right?
No.
You don't have. You can be wearing anything you like. We don't. Honestly, we couldn't give a monkeys, right? What you are, where you come from, how fast you are, how slow you are, what you're wearing, what your background is. We don't care. We just want.
What about if you're a cyclist?
Huh?
What about if you're a cyclist?
Well,
If you're biking, you can go and talk to Toe. I don't do biking. Okay.
What you were saying earlier on the phone.
I don't do biking. I eat sausage sandwiches when I'm on 2 wheels. That's a new sport. Right, we'll leave it there, Wilco. Take us out.
I think that's great. Yeah, thanks everybody for thanks for your company this evening, and to Toby for his technical guidance as always. Big shout out to our sponsors, Sketchers, for their support, and to you, the listeners, who have shunned the football action and stuck with us this week, or you've taken us on your long run on a Sunday. Thanks ever so much for your questions and your attention. We are on Facebook and YouTube every Friday at 7 p.m. But if you can't catch us live, feel free to download us on using your podcast provider of choice, whether that's Apple, Amazon, or Spotify. And please give us a review and send it, because then we can go shooting up those charts, because we want to be #1 for Christmas in the running charts. That would be lovely, because we've never been #1. We've been #2, but we've not been #1 yet, and that would make our 2022. So please don't forget, if you've got a question, drop us a line to 40runs.com/long run. You can find it, fill the box in there, and you can send that to us, or you can get in touch with us at running community at 40 runs on Facebook. Thanks very much. Look forward to seeing plenty of you on Sunday morning. Bring your rain gear at the Olympic Park, and yeah, it'll be a great day. So I'm looking forward to that. Wherever you're running this weekend and this week, stay safe, enjoy your running, and we will see you next week. Come on, England!